Okay, so this week it's going to be all about exhaust again. So we're really working hard to get the rear end, or Darren's working hard to get all of the back end done. So he's doing mounts, tailpipes, and I'm working on the extractors. So by the end of the week, I want to have one side 100% finished, the hard side, and then I'll be starting on the new side. So I'll mock that up in the plastic and then get through and get that done. So it's like play group again this morning. So we've got making the mounts for the back of the muffler. So this will go up, mount onto the floor, and then I'll have a mount like that. And the value of these is the weight of the muffler's sitting down on that plate rather than being hanging off a rubber. And we had an original template like this one that was going to go onto a piece of pipe, and then we changed our mind and went the opposite way. So we're now just trying to work out the other side. So Darren's got his computer going here to get his shape. And show me how that's going to sort of work. So this one will come down, this one here will come down and weld onto the exhaust pipe, and this one here will get bent up and bolt to the body, so the weight is then loaded down onto that bush. So we'll show you that when it's on the car shortly. So this is just another one of our little sneaky tools that's cost effective. Comes from Hare and Forbes, goes in your normal commercial style. We've got to go over the neighbours to do it because my pressure's not big enough, so I'm looking that we might cut it down. So this is only 2 mil, so it's doing it fairly easy because you can see there where I've written on there it'll do up to 6 mil in short lengths. Darren's allowed to lose a finger. There we go.
5.
You got 5? So in some of the earlier videos we had tips on how to do things and the way we do it at Astill Design, and with Road to Top 60 I don't want to miss out and lose that, but we've also got to look after our sponsors. So Mothers and PPG are obviously big supporters of what we're doing and enable us to do the editing and get it out to you. So I've had Steve started with us, so I've been doing him with a bit of training. So been pulling stuff out of the container that I thought I'd always kept that I might use, that I'm going to put on eBay or somewhere. So this week I've had him playing with these beautiful old gauges. So these are Smith's gauges, and these come out of some of my dad's stuff, and they come out on Austin Healey's. The original Ford Cobras had them, the fiberglass Cobras, or the steel Cobras that are now fiberglass. So we've been cleaning those up. So with the back, we've just been using some degreaser on them, or a all-purpose cleaner. And then with the actual lens and the chrome, I've been using this chrome polish, and I find that really good. I'm not sure what's in it, but it does do a really good job of it, and I find it's good on the glass as well. And you just need to make sure you use a really soft rag. So I like these. These are actually like a premium product. They're nice and soft, so they don't hurt the glass. So where these are really sort of dirty and quite old, and these things are probably 50-year-old, I find they just come up really, really good, and we end up with something that looks more like this. Whoa, a bit too much. So it's all good to be waffling on and say how good it is, but what I like is you can see there that dirt and crud. It really does just, it's obviously not going to take rust off without doing a bit of extra work, but you can see there how that's just taking that off really good. And it's just a little bit of muscle then, and just work your way up. Because these are real gauges, they're glass, so you're not going to hurt the glass with it. And just with a bit of time and persistence, you can go from that to that. So while I've been doing the extractors, I had Darren back here working on the rear. So you can see there just how tight that's going to be, but we've got enough clearance. So this centre section here is all fixed to the body, and the exhaust is effectively fixed to the body through the mounting. So the shaft here, and we've got about 20 mil gap in there, but this shaft virtually won't move here. It'll be very minimal because all the movement's on the outer edge out here. and this point here is fixed. So, and the same applies at the front, where this diagonal goes through here. This one is attached to the centre end of the body. So that pipe there, there's a bit of welding to do there, but we'll get to that. So that'll then go around there and then step back up to the muffler. And then this is just here to hold everything in place. And then we've got our mount up in there. So what we're doing there, this will actually bolt on with the exhaust. So there'll be a flange put in here, just having those cut at the moment. So that'll be a bolt-on flange. And then that mount up in there will actually have one of these little fellas, which is a proper exhaust mount, but the load sits down on it. So that'll bolt on to there, probably with a nylock nut. I'll just grab a torch. So that'll bolt to the rail going across there. And then the other piece fits in there, and that'll weld to the actual pipe. So it'll be pretty much encased, which will be nice. Probably powder coat those or something. And that'll be very solid, won't move around much because we haven't got a lot of tolerance everywhere. And then we've got spacer up in there to the floor. And then that pipe continues to run down along and up where I'm making the extractors. And then the last piece of the puzzle will be up in here. We'll run a crossover in front of the mufflers. We're going to make that out of this same pipe. So I've got 3 of those pipes now made out of steel. And I've got a little bit of tape and stuff around them because I just need to get the last one made before I take that last step and tack them together, because once I've done that, they probably won't come back out without actually removing the engine, which is not that unusual. But I'm very happy with the amount of clearance I've got for the steering arm. We're pretty much clearing chassis rails and everything by a good 10 mil everywhere. So I'm pretty happy with the way the whole thing's progressed, really. So Darren's just tacking that together now. So he's been working on the tailpipe. So the tailpipes are made out of that oval piping, and to get the sort of radius we need to do what they call a pie cut, or I think they call a pie cut. So you imagine there, they've all got to be cut individually and then tacked together. And then Darren's been working away here with the TIG. And I think the biggest thing about this is that you've got to get yourself comfortable, get yourself in a working position where you can set yourself up to be able to do those over a long period of time. And you'll see there he's just got the dollies and that there. There's a bit of an elbow rest. Just show us how you set up there, mate. So he's got himself there, so you're going to hold that hand in position. The more comfortable you can make yourself, the better. And then when you're going to spend hours and hours doing this sort of stuff, you really need to be set up so that you can do it. In a nice comfy spot there, mate.
Yep, ready to go.
Ready to go. Lots of welding to do. So we're using TIG, and at the moment we've settled on a 1mm tip and a 0.9 MIG wire, which seems to be giving us the best result, because the plan is to leave these welds exposed, and once they've got the coating on them, they'll look quite nice, I think. So these are the little things that take the time. So when we got this pipe, it had some flanges with it. So the flanges that came with it, besides not really fitting very nice, so I like to sit those in and TIG weld around the inside. So on the outside, you get a nice look. So that was never going to work. And I really didn't like the idea of just 2 bolts in it. So I sat down, did a bit of Google research, find out what was out there, couldn't find anything exactly what I wanted. So I drew that up, the old tech drawing skills from back at school. And then just with the basic tools, and came up with a design that I sent off to Adam Perry from Tailspin, and he's in a position where he can put that through a computer for me and then water jet them. So what we end up with, that's the raw one. So that is a copy of what I've sent him. And now that is a nice fit. So we can hammer that on there. That's a really nice tight fit. And then what we do then is we just put that on the linisher and go around and linish the outside edge. And we'll end up with a pair of those that bolt together with a gasket. And now I'm just looking for, so we'll cut the gasket on the water jet as well. And now I'm just trying to work out what bolts I'm going to use, whether I use, you know, a bolt with the washer on the bolt, whether we use a hex head, multi-stud, and then I'll go through that process. But I'm a little bit blown away with how expensive the bolts are. If you go down the whole ARP, you're probably looking at nearly $300 worth of bolts just to do the flanges. So I'll make that decision this week and move forward. So this week's been still on the exhaust. So I've been a bit tied up doing some other things and haven't got as much done as I'd like, but Darren's had a good run at the tailpipes here. So he's actually been working away, doing all those pie cuts and making things look good. So we're getting a nice clean look, how we like it to be. And as well as doing those tailpipes, he's done the mounts. And we just started putting in some of the flanges as well. And you'll see up in there the actual mount as well. So we've been using those ones I showed earlier. So I'll grab one off the bench. So it looks like this, and it sits up in between those two brackets there, so a bit hard to see. So this one and that one, that sits in between, so all of this load is now sitting down on that rubber. So it's very solid, not a lot of movement, but it's still got a good 25mm of cushioning. So it'll be one of those each side, and we'll get the other one of these done as well now on this side. And then at this point in time, we're looking, when we cut this one down up here, we'll put another flange probably in here, and then the tail shaft's going to run through to the rear with a nice tip that'll sit under the back. So that tailpipe will be something like that. It'll run along next to the tank. We'll have to do some little bends and stuff to get us through there. I was very happy with the way it's all progressing. And then tonight I'm going to try and finalise the steel on these extractors. So just going to show you how I'm making these individual pieces. So I've got that made up now out of the blocks. And the black line I've put on there just with some whiteboard marker. And that'll let me know exactly where the lines are, which I'll show you in a minute. So I'll just break that in half to get it out. I'm just going to use those lines to make sure I'm back in the same position. So up here there's one block left in there, so I just need to put one block onto here so that it's exactly the same. And now we'll head over here. So what I need to do now is replicate what I've got. So where these lines are, where that changes, we're going to make this out of one piece and then this out of another couple of pieces here. So I'm just going to do that. So that one there, so it's 2 bends and the 3 straights. So if I put this in this little machine, you can see there I've had it in there before. So I need to make this that long with the 2 bends on it. So if I take that off there, put it over here, you can see this line here is where I've got to cut it. I've got to cut it through there, and then through there. So that'll give me that exact piece. Like that. Okay, so there we got that. I'll just go and clean that up. So these are a really handy little tool. Goes in there and takes that little edge off. So that's the first one done. So I've had a bit of a busy week, so I haven't got as much done as I would have liked on these pipes, but I've been chasing a lot of parts and organising bits and pieces as well so that we can move forward. But I've got 3 of those done in steel now and tacked in, and I'm just going to make the other one tonight and try and get all 4. And I've just got to make a few little mods down in here where they go into that collector that now that I've got them all tacked together, it's not exactly where I want it to be. So hopefully I'll get a bit of footage of me doing some work tonight. So I got a bit done last night, sort of had it all pulled apart. Welded up a whole heap of these now. I've only got a couple of tacks left that I need to do something with. But when you get it out and get it onto the bench, I'm not really happy with the way this one flows into the collector. So I'm going to cut it through here, put that piece in there which will bring it into the collector better. You can see the angle that's coming in on, I'm not happy with that. Didn't look so bad in the car. And the other pipe I've now got made up in the plastic as well, so that'll sit there like that, and then that'll give me all 4 pipes coming in on the same angle to go into the collector. So it's a Sad Diavo job, so I'm out here in the shed on my Ownsom, and I've got the V8s over there when it comes on, so I'll get into that at the same time, try and make a few yards. Okay, so all the steel bits are made. All I've got to do now is finish some of those pipes off and then pretty much completely disassemble it so that I can finish all the welds and linish them up. I'm going to leave the welds exposed, not the prettiest welds, but they're not bad. So I'm getting pretty good at this. I've had them on and off a few times. So I've been using a little spacer for the gasket. Righto, they're out. I've got all the steel made. I've still got a fair bit to do yet. I've got some welds to do and obviously fit that collector on properly. But a lot of effort to get around that steering shaft, but we're there. We've got 2-inch primaries into a 3.5-inch collector. So these flanges, looks like they were probably water jetted or something like that. So I'm just going to run the die grinder on those and clean them up, take some of the marks out of them. Okay, so I'm just using the die grinder with a little sanding disc on it. Well, that's a wrap for this week. Been pretty full on with the extractors. You would have seen in the video the process to get to where we are, so I'm really happy the way they've turned out, and that's pretty much the done deal now, so I've just got to do a bit of welding here. So I put in a few hours over the weekend, so I worked today and yesterday and Friday night to get this one finished. Good opportunity to have the TV out in the shed on my own and watch the V8s as well. So thanks for joining us this week, and I hope I can bring you some more interesting stuff next week. So all hands on deck today. So we've got Olivia here, my other granddaughter, my daughter Louise. No one's met Louise yet. So this is Louise. So Louise helps with bookkeeping, comes in 1 day a week, and helps with all the part side of things. So right up the front there, Olivia, with the other one. So we're just laying out all the parts that we have for coupes and sedans. This setup's primarily coupe. Okay, go and see what else Mum's got there. So we can do a photo for our page. So this is where we've hidden the van motor. So it's sitting in the games room, waiting. It'll probably be a good 6 or 8 months before I get back to this. Unless I happen to spot a couple of things turn up on Facebook or on eBay or something. But it's pretty much the way it's going to look. Some of you may have noticed the weights on the back bench. I've been on this weight program now for, I don't know, 10 months now I suppose. And part of that now is to, I've been doing a bit of gym work at home here, and I ran out of weight, so I scored some on buy, swap and sell that didn't look so flash. Just been slowly but surely working my way through cleaning them up. And like everything we do, or I do, I like to keep things nice. So you'll see here, we've been cleaning those up and painting them. And they're coming up brand new. So pretty wrapped about that, saved myself a few dollars and still look good. And I don't have to worry about swapping the weights around to get the right size that I need to do the exercise I'm planning on. So that's a bonus all round. A little bit of lawn porn. You can see with the amount of shadowing, lawn starts to struggle a bit this time of year with the low down sun. A bit of winter grass coming in and that sort of stuff, but it's looking pretty good. I don't have much more time to spend on it at the moment, so I'm happy the way it's looking at the moment. So I'll give that a quick double cut today. Only got to mow every 6 to 10 days this time of year. It's like we're nearly due for some new flags. Might have to jump on the net and a couple of newies. A lovely winter's day. It's only just about fixing that quarter, but it snowballed like they all do, so we ended up doing the plenum as well, and de-skin the doors and the boot lid. And that's now had a skimmer filler and then a couple of block backs. Probably a little bit more than I'd normally do in epoxy, but because it's getting sealed up for storage now, just wanted to make sure that it had plenty of protection. Where normally I would have went for primer and then blocked the primer, so pretty happy about the way it's come out. All cleaned up. Still a few bits and pieces to sort out with the primer. A few little nicks here and there, but all in all, looks pretty good. In some of our earlier, so now that we've gone into, we did. I've got nothing happening today, have I? What happened to the one take Howard?